New Vegas is full of random secrets and facts that most people just overlook. There's really a lot of mind-blowing stuff that you can find, and I wanted to show you guys some of them. If you enjoy Fallout, then you're 100% in the right place. We have a ton of content on the channel and a lot more to come, so consider subbing. If you want to join a community and talk about Fallout or gaming in general, then check out our Discord in the description. We're pretty easygoing there, so come hang out. Thanks for watching and enjoy the vid. When you're heading up to Boulder City, you'll run into a big stone slab that lists NCR troops who died during the first Battle of Hoover Dam. The first time you walk into the city, you'll notice Private Kowalski just standing in front of this stone. He's an NCR trooper, and he's visiting his brother whose name is on this list. If you decide to talk to him, he'll tell you that his brother was helping wounded troops escape before the town was blown up by Rangers who were trying to trap the Legion forces. But did you know that if you point your gun at it, the stone, Private Kowalski gets real mad. If you take it a step further and shoot at it, he'll have a full breakdown and start yelling about disrespect, and then he charges at you.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
But that's not even the best or worst part depending on who you are. You can of course apologize, or you can start insulting him and his brother some more.
Oh, now it's on.
It's always fun to show up here and just start rage baiting Kowalski. I mean, it is a messed up thing to do in the current circumstance, but we're here for a good time, not a long time. Have you ever been to Chance's grave? Do you even know who Chance is? Well, maybe you should, because he's pretty important to the Courier's story. Your story. Chance was a young Great Khan who traveled with Benny and the Khan crew before the Courier's ambush near Goodsprings. He had survived the Bitter Springs massacre, and all the trauma from that event left him pretty unstable and prone to violent flashbacks. During their journey, the group passed a tribal village being attacked by fiends. The fire weapons used by the raiders triggered Chance's Bitter Springs memories, which pushed him to rush into the fight. He killed a lot of fiends, but was severely burned while taking down their leader. Benny decided later that Chance was a liability. He secretly gave him Psycho, spiked to kill him, setting it up as an overdose. Chance's friends and fellow Khans, Jessup and McMurphy, buried him with respect near the destroyed village. And you can still find his grave on a hill north of Goodsprings and by that tribal village. Bring a shovel though. I know it sounds messed up, but you'll need it. When you dig up his grave, you'll find Chance's knife, which is a sweet variant of the combat knife. It's basically a stronger, faster version of the regular combat knife. It even does more critical damage, but it still weighs the same and costs the same AP to use. The handle is dark blue and the blade is covered in dry blood, and you can even sneak it into casinos as a holdout weapon. It also has a special attack called Backslash, just by holding the attack button while moving forward. It's a pretty cool weapon, with a cool backstory to match. This one is more sad than anything. We all know Boone, our favorite sad companion who never mentions his wife at all, right? Well, apparently after the tragedy of losing his wife and his unborn child, he resorted to using chems to cope with the trauma. If you head into his room in Novak, you'll actually find some of these chems in the room. I mean, maybe he was a user before in the army, or maybe he uses chems to give him an edge while sniping. But my opinion is that he's definitely going through some hard times, and it's probably a good thing the Courier showed up when they did. Queenie is Cook-cook's pride and joy, and if you mess with her, he'll do some serious damage. Most people use this little trick as a way to clear the fiends from his camp. While Cook-cook is happy to use Brahmin he owns for his stew pots, Queenie is out of the question. If you kill her, Cook-cook loses his shit and goes absolutely mental on everyone. You could choose to sit back and watch as the crew takes care of each other, or you can join in the attack. Letting his crew handle it themselves makes it so the bounty isn't worth quite as much because Cook-cook gets messed up bad. But if you join, then you get the full reward for bringing him back intact. But in my experience, Cook-cook is the one that tends to come out on top of this little fight. That flamer is going crazy. I actually mentioned this guy in a different video about a week ago, but I wanted to bring him back up because some of the details surrounding him are pretty interesting. Rotface is a ghoul that you can meet when you first get to Freeside. He's just sitting down by a building and he's really easy to miss. If you talk to him, he'll actually give you some tips about what's going on around Freeside and in New Vegas in general. He'll give you a couple for free, and then after that it costs 1 cap per tip. The tips are actually pretty good if you're new to the game, and he says some lore stuff that's pretty interesting. But what's even better than all of that is that if you end up giving him 10 caps and then walking out of Freeside and coming back in, he has a fancy new schnazzy hat. He actually used the caps you gave him to go out and buy himself a nifty little hat. But what I learned is that the hat he buys is Eulogy's hat from Fallout 3. But since it was cut, I don't think they cared about changing the names in the files. And that's how we know where it's from. We also know that after 20 caps, he was supposed to buy a suit to go with it, but that ended up not working. Anyways, I'm happy for good old Rotface. He seems to be living his best life. This one really surprised me, but you can actually find 2 Chinese stealth suits inside the Hoover Dam offices. They're in a small radioactive storage room hidden in the back. When you go in, they're just sitting together in a wooden crate on the left side. They're older pre-war models, so they don't have the stealth field like the newer versions, but they're still pretty well built and they give a nice boost to sneaking. It is interesting to wonder why these stealth suits would be found here. Maybe they're there because Hoover Dam stores all kinds of military tech and hazardous materials before the war. And maybe these suits were just left behind with other sealed off equipment. But if the government was studying Chinese stealth suits, why would they send them to Hoover Dam? We do get a mention by the NCR about them. In one of the terminals in the offices, they're taking inventory, and this is what they say. Johnson, I've come across a crate with a couple of suits made of a material I don't even recognize. Do you know what the hell this is? Looks like pre-war tech to me. The eggheads we have down here are mostly glorified mechanics, so they scratched their heads when I showed it to them. Remember those suits I told you about? Gone. Some jackass ordered a complete reorganization of our storage system and I can't find anything. Wonderful. I guess they'll turn up sooner or later. I find it pretty interesting lore-wise, but if you're just looking to make your courier look badass, then you should head here. Speaking about looking badass, this trick is simple but effective. Outside of the Gamorra, you'll find some dancers, I guess we would call them. Don't act like you didn't sit here and stare at them when you were younger. And it was at this specific moment when someone would walk into your room. You could have truly been innocent, just doing your own thing, and took the briefest glance, and boom, someone's watching. Anyways, have you ever felt the desire to wear one of these outfits for yourself? Because you can. You can reverse pickpocket the dancers and give them better armor than the ones they're wearing. You can then steal their outfits and wear them to your heart's content. Running and gunning down some legionnaires in these outfits would definitely be turning some heads. Everyone knows the tale of the lonesome drifter at this point. Okay, well maybe you don't, and if not, here's a very simple breakdown. There's a guy you can find on the road to New Vegas and he's sitting by a billboard. He's called the Lonesome Drifter, and a lot of people in the community think that he might be the mysterious stranger's son. It's a whole theory with a lot of good lore bits backing it up. But my favorite, and the fact that I wanted to bring up really, is the gun that he carries. You can obtain this by killing him or with a barter check during the talent pool quest. Either way, the gun is called the Mysterious Magnum. It's a unique 44 revolver that's different because of its special music effect. Every time you draw it, it plays the dramatic arrival chord from the Mysterious Stranger's theme. And then when you holster it, it plays the exit chord. I mean, that is some pretty good evidence for the theory, I would say. What's funny is that even your companions can trigger the theme if you give the gun to them. And if you sneak while drawing it, the music plays quietly, so enemies won't hear you. The gun is stronger than a normal 44 Magnum and fires way faster, giving it way better DPS. The downside is that it breaks quicker than regular versions, even without mods. It also can't be customized with any weapon mods, but it looks pretty fancy. The gun has a bright silver finish with detailed engravings all over the metal, and then it has a pearl-like grip that makes it feel like an old-school cowboy piece. It also counts as an improved holdout weapon, meaning you can sneak it into casinos. I would suggest getting your hands on this bad boy. Also, let me know if you really do think he's the mysterious stranger's son. There's this child slave at the fort, and she has a quest for you. Yes, I know it is insane to just briefly brush over the words child slave, but when you're with the Legion, this is just another day in the life. Her name is Melody, and she spends her days doing basic chores like feeding the Brahmin and bringing food and water to the Legionnaires. Life there is no doubt horrible for her, and the only thing she cares about is her stuffed bear, Sergeant Teddy, which she keeps hidden so the Legion won't take it away from her. That might be the saddest thing I've ever had to say. Then of course Antony, the Legion's dog handler, discovers the toy, and he confiscates it and lets his dogs tear it apart. This is the start of the quest, saving or savaging Sergeant Teddy, where you can actually help her get the bear back. When you first meet her, Melody refuses to talk, because slaves aren't supposed to speak freely. But if you pass a speech 50 check, or your intelligence is 3 or lower, she'll open up and explain what happened. You can help get the doll back from Antony and then bring it back to her. And then there's the crazy part. You can either give her her doll back, or you can tear it in half right in front of her face. And that is some truly monstrous behavior. I always thought in my head that the courier should be balling out. They're a New Vegas high roller, and what do they have to show for it? A couple of dirty suits or some chunky power armor? Hell no. If you want to give the right impression on the strip, then look no further than the Pimp-boy 3 billion. And yes, this is actually in the game and not a mod. The Pimp-boy 3 billion is a flashy gold and diamond covered version of the courier's normal Pip-boy 3000. Mick from Mick and Ralph's and Freeside is the one who gives it to you. When you get it, it automatically replaces your Pip-boy, but you can swap it back anytime just by talking to Mick again. You can only get the Pimp-boy while dealing with the Omertas from the Gomorrah Casino. During the quest, How Little We Know. Before you start pushing that quest too far, Mick mentions that the Omertas suddenly stop buying guns from him. He asks you to look into it and keep him updated. Once you solve their internal problems, depending on the path you choose, you can get the Pimp-boy as a thank you for getting his business back. If you went with Big Sal and Nero, you have to finish the entire quest line by helping them keep control of Gomorrah. After everything is resolved, you can talk to Big Sal again and pass a speech 50 check to convince him to start buying weapons from Mick. When you bring the good news back to Mick, he rewards you with the Pimp-boy. If you side with Kachino, the path is easier. You only need to free Troik from his contract, but it has to be done in the right way. You can either pay 300 caps, pass a speech 53 check, or pass a barter 45 check by lying about Troik helping with weapon prices. Any of those options unlock Mick's good news dialogue, and he'll give you the Pimp-boy right away. You don't even need to finish the rest of the quest. Just make sure you don't use the blackmail no or the higher speech 80 option with Troik, because those methods lock you out of getting the Pimp-boy. And now you're balling out. All the cowboy ghouls will be staring and you'll become the talk of the town. If you're one of the lucky few to have grown up in a small town, then this joyful activity might hit a little closer to home. Some of us know it as cow tipping, but in New Vegas, it's called Brahmin Tipping. It's a pretty simple activity. You walk up to the Brahmin, crouch, and then press the action button. The Brahmin will fall over with all 4 legs in the air. They'll lay there for a bit and then get back up. I actually first learned to do this in Fallout 3, where you can do the same thing. And a lot of people thought that this didn't carry over into New Vegas. But here it is in all its glory. Don't worry though, this doesn't hurt your reputation or the Brahmin. It's just a harmless prank. You can tip as many Brahmin as you want as long as they aren't named or part of a quest. But don't be going up to Tumbleweed Ranch and tipping over the Wind Brahmin. You might regret that one.
You want to buy Wind Brahmin?
You'd be surprised by how many people still don't know about things like this, because it's never really stated, and if you don't go looking or talking to everyone, you'll just follow the quest markers or obvious things. After you take out the gangers in Primm, you get a quest to bring the law back to the town of Primm through picking a sheriff. The upfront options that are handed to you are the NCR across the way, which might seem tempting to most players honestly. Or you can recruit a powder ganger guy who used to be a sheriff. Both of these options are front and center to the quest with their own markers. But there is a third option.
Yeehaw!
That's right. It's Primm Slimm himself, and you can actually reprogram this guy to be the new sheriff of Primm. And even if you knew all of that, I bet you didn't know just how badass Primm Slimm really is. He has an insane amount of health that actually increases with your courier's level. In fact, he's the single most durable character in the entire game. Is that not ridiculous? No one will be manhandling that bot anytime soon. What are some of your favorite facts or secrets found in New Vegas? Or in any of the Fallout games really? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to come to the Discord and hang out. And remember, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and I'll see you in the next.